President Obama wants to make one thing perfectly clear. Replacing General Stanley McChrystal as top military commander in Afghanistan with his boss, General David Petraeus, is a change in personnel, not in policy. But how will the change in command affect American boots on the ground? Joining us now, two Afghanistan veterans. Former Army Sergeant Daniel Bell is in St. Louis, and former Marine Corporal Rick Reyes is in Los Angeles. Welcome to you both this morning.
Good morning, Carol.
Sergeant Bell, I'd like to start with you because you served...
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You served under General McChrystal, Sergeant Bell, and you liked him, and you believe in his strategy. For the soldiers, for the troops on the ground, how will this affect their morale, do you think?
Well, it's difficult to really know the impact that this is going to make on the troops on the ground over there. The culture's changed a lot, you know, with the advent of Facebook and updates and internet access on the battlefield. I think this will have a greater impact than what a lot of people realize. Strategy isn't going to change, seemingly. However, a change in command does definitely affect the way troops perceive the way battle is going.
Well, did most troops like General McChrystal? I mean, how might they feel about this Rolling Stone article? Some might feel that the reporter there threw him under the bus.
Well, I don't know the perspective of the more conventional troops. I know within the special operations community, General McChrystal was definitely a beloved leader who led from the front, and just from his example, a lot of people believed in his strategy and the direction he was going.
Corporal Reyes, I'd like to talk about that strategy, this counterinsurgency strategy, which is controversial. It basically means you send in a lot of troops. They not only fight the enemy, they live among them, and they try to change the government from within, and that is a tall order. Might this be a good time, though, since there is a change in command, even though President Obama says there's no change in strategy? Should there be a rethinking of the strategy, though?
Well, what we hear the president say is that he wants to pursue the same policy. I support the president. I think we should pursue the same policy, but we're going about it the wrong way. We're using the wrong strategy. So this change in command should provoke a deep reflection and reassessment of what's currently happening on the ground. We can see through experience and history that what happened in Vietnam, the counterinsurgency in support of an unpopular government, is destined to fail. It just won't work. We're trying to achieve a military victory or find a military solution to what's an obvious political and social problem.
You know, Sergeant Bell, some soldiers have a problem with this strategy because it sort of limits them. I mean, they can't really fight the enemy every time. They're not supposed to use lethal force unless it's absolutely necessary. They have problems when they capture insurgents. They go through this process, the insurgents are let go. I mean, do you think that this strategy is really tying the hands of soldiers and that American troops will really be able to get out of there by July 2011?
Well, I think ROE and some of the strategies that we see, especially from the perspective of the American public, are definitely influenced by media. So the way that they're able to carry out a war in Afghanistan is definitely hindered by political perspective. And I believe it's difficult for a commander having to take those things into consideration to establish rules of engagement that may benefit the military better. It's a difficult thing when the media gets involved in warfare and what a commander is trying to carry out on the battlefield, as this Rolling Stone article demonstrates. Just a few comments, water cooler type comments that were made, and now we have the resignation of the commanding officer over there in Afghanistan.
And just quickly, Corporal Reyes, I was just, wondering about whether you think that American troops will be able to get out of there by next year, or even start to withdraw, I should say.
Well, if we look at the latest progress reports out of the Pentagon, we can see that the districts that are sympathetic to Taliban or in support of Taliban are much further than the districts in support of the Kabul government. So with that said, if we continue with the same strategy, I don't see us pulling out of there anytime soon. So there has to be a reassessment of the current strategy being implemented in Afghanistan.
Sergeant Bell, Corporal Reyes, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.